Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. But today is a little different because Halloween is tomorrow.
Woo! Here we are.
It's my favorite holiday, so I am so excited after all the complications that could be thrown at Halloween's way.
I mean, listen, this October has been a mess.
I couldn't even get Miguel yesterday. I tried.
Yeah.
Tried to, re-spark the
Scare Wars.
Wars.
Well, you see why we didn't even do Scare Wars this year, because I was like, normally we start the beginning of October, but then there were like...
I'm sorry, real life was scarier.
Right. That's why I was like, you know what? We'll put Scare Wars on hold. And even one of our coworkers, Cool Beans from the Woody and Wilcox show, who she is the easiest person to scare.
Ooh.
I told her, I was like, girl, just look for me on Halloween. I'm not even...
We got to get her tomorrow. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
No!
I love her so
Mhm.
much.
No, but I told her. I put her on notice. I said, just be prepared.
All
We're
right.
going to get you on Halloween. You can literally call her and be like, hey, in 5 minutes, I'm going to scare you. And then you walk in 5 minutes and you will act like you just barged into her house at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Correct.
So with that being said, with Halloween being tomorrow, we wanted to bring on Miss Soul Worker Stacy.
Hi, how are you
Hi.
guys?
Wonderful. You're looking witchy.
You know how to.
Yeah.
I couldn't decide whether or not I want to do the witch thing or a cat thing, so here it is. Yay!
Wow.
I
Yeah.
love that. You're going with
Colin,
the
I
sexy color.
hear a little bit of gossip that you have. We need to talk.
Oh, you have
Me?
a- Oh, yes, me. Well, yes.
Wait, me?
Well, yes.
me?
Well, I heard Holly, so I was like, huh? No, it was me.
Oh.
Yes. You
Dude.
you are a very talented ghoster when I text you. Sometimes I text you and then you will respond. I will give you that. You do respond, but it's like later. And I'm like, whatever. She's probably napping.
Sometimes Stacey doesn't respond at all. You got to just give it to her.
Mhm.
She's got stuff going on.
I was gonna say, and all joking aside, I don't know about y'all, but this last month and a half has just been. When is retrograde gonna be over? That's all I'm gonna
You
say,
know
and I
it.
know it's not even going on.
Right.
It's not.
It.
It's not.
Yeah.
But it feels like it.
It's been a lot. It's
Well,
been a
we're
lot.
coming to the end of. I saw something. Was it the end of Pluto's in Pisces or something, or maybe in Capricorn? Pluto's in Capricorn, and it's going to Aquarius in November. So that's supposed to kick off this new egalitarian society of technology and equality. And
What is
Pluto
egalitarian?
can get on out of here. We need to pack their bags and just go.
it's like what we're all invested, and we're all like it's what's best for all type of society.
I love that y'all use big words, but egalitarian, kismet.
He
sorry.
He loves kismet.
I do.
Anyway,
It's all right. We're going to learn you one of these
We
days.
will. No, I appreciate it. I do
yeah.
love to learn.
Yeah, we're trying to just expand your vocabulary. Give you a litany of words to...
Not only is this a great show, it's an educational show.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, it is. All right. Well, while we're laughing, we do have some serious issues that we do need to get to.
we do.
Yes.
We do have a Miguel and Holly fan member that wants a reading. And so once we talk to them, I do want to talk to you more, Stacy, about, with it being Halloween tomorrow, what are some spooky things you have experienced, or what can we expect? But before we get to that, let's welcome Miguel and Holly fan member Carrie to the show. Hi,
Hi.
Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Hi.
And
Now,
I don't know if you can see, but I'm actually wearing a wig.
yes.
I'm going the wrong way.
And what's on your
Spooky.
face, Carrie? What's on your face?
Oh, well, yes.
Oh, I love
I had to go to my
that.
son. I did have a whole witch hat on and the whole thing, but it's very hot, and I was already kind of nervous for this, so I was like, I was already sweating. I could not wear a hat. But yeah.
I love
But
that.
It's like a little, for those listening, it's like a spider web and some little bats on her face.
Oh yeah.
It's so cute.
You don't know these days if it's real or not. So I was like, what's that?
I know. It is, I know. I was like, I didn't.
Well, it's so funny when I actually talked to you right before we started and I saw that on your face and I thought the same thing. I was going to be like, oh, girl, that's a cute Halloween dad. Wait, what if it's not? What if she really has a face tattoo?
Okay, if you really have
then-
that as a face tattoo, you have got to be prepared for people to be like, oh, that's cute. And then you to be like, oh, no, that's my face.
I'm about to say,
You
girl,
have
it's
to be prepared.
2024. You just
You
never
don't
know.
know.
You
You
don't
just
know.
never know.
That's why I'm always like, ooh, I'm just, unless they acknowledge it, I ain't gonna say nothing anymore about it. Well, Carrie, here's how this works. First off, you are now in the Platypus Posse, because you know how on the air we say the Miguel and Holly fam. Well, if you listen to just the podcast or listen to the podcast, you're now a Platypus Posse member. So welcome.
Promotion.
Yes. And so here's how this works. It is just right now, you and Stacy, Holly, Kelvin, and myself will turn our microphones down, and it's just you and her having a session.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Okay, stop being nervous. We're going to have fun.
Okay.
So it's a little intense. I do talk fast, and I'm sorry. Please know that I do work solely and strictly through God. I don't know whether or not they prepped you, but please just keep an open heart, open mind, and understand that my gifts are very rare, very different, very powerful, and sometimes I don't even understand what's coming through, and I may seem like I'm hesitant to say something. That's my own stuff. It has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
And on that word and note, I am going to get started about your grandmother on your mom's side. You have to know that she's with you. You have to know that you are blessed. You are stronger than you give yourself credit for. And it's interesting because your foundation is cement, but you're convinced something is wrong with you anyway. And you have to understand that everything that you've dealt with in your life, everything that may have cracked that foundation, has actually been a crack to be able to strengthen that foundation, believe it or not, after it's been repaired. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Because you've been through it and then some. You've had some major losses, and life has been very trying at times. Are you in between two different jobs right now, or are you looking to like change up your job position?
I recently went to a new job.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
step. You just have to know this confirmation that you did the right thing. And I don't know whether or not I said it, but I do work solely and strictly through God. You're always in charge of your own fate. You're always in charge of your own destiny. But I was so eager to talk to you today because it's like I have to encourage you with this because it's going to get tough, but you need to understand, don't give up. I want you to push back when you're being pushed on, and I want you to truly focus on what this job is going to bring to you later on. Don't think of the here and now. I need you to go bigger picture. Make sense? Because you
Yeah.
sometimes just stay in the now, and I know that's what we're supposed to do, but I want you to remember this is more about your future. Do you have a little girl as well?
Well, she's not little.
Yeah, but she's your baby.
Yeah.
I need you to know she's okay. Okay. There's a lot of reassurance I need to give you with that as well. And to give her space. She's got wings. She's a butterfly. Like she's little miss.
You know
I have to experience everything and I have
Let
to
me
see
just
everything.
Can I tell you something? Her name's
Sure.
means butterfly. And I
Yeah.
always like, she's my little butterfly.
She's your butterfly.
Yeah.
And it's true because she truly has. It's not that she has a free spirit. She's braver than hell. Like she is just like, okay, why not? Let's do it. You know what I mean? She's beautiful in that spirit that she does have. She's gonna be a healer. She's the kind of person that will bring home homeless animals. She's that person who will feed the homeless because she can. You know what I mean? So just instead of giving her advice on what to do, just be there when she's ready to ask for it. Make sense?
Yes.
Because everything has to be her idea. Back to your grandmother. So did she help raise you, or because it's either you're the first granddaughter or you guys have the same name, but there's like something very special with you for her. Does that make sense to you?
Mhm.
Okay, because she puts you on a pedestal.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk or am I listening?
Please,
I
yeah,
don't
go
wanna-
ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's because I think you're talking about my great grandmother who lived with my grandmother, who did raise me with my mom. So
Thank
that's the problem.
you. Did your mom's middle name come from her grandmother or did yours?
My daughter's middle name.
Thank you. Okay. Just
Grandmother.
please know that
Yeah.
that's just confirmation of everything. You do have a tattoo, or you were thinking about getting a tattoo, don't you, for your daughter, or like family tattoo?
I have a tattoo with my kids' names.
Yeah.
Or kids.
Okay. Just please know confirmation.
Mhm.
I love that I'm blowing your mind. I'm sorry. Your face, if you guys can see this, you weren't expecting any of this.
No. I'm
I
definitely
love
shocked about
that. Okay, you also didn't get to say goodbye to her, and it's like she fell asleep, and I need you to know that she passed very peacefully, and that she's very much okay and in heaven. Okay, because that's something you wonder about. Yes, there's a heaven. Um, do you have two babies?
I have 2 boys and a girl, so 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your youngest. That's not. I was gonna say, who's your youngest? Is that your daughter or is that your other son?
That's my other son.
That's so. He's a firecracker. Do not dull his light. Let him be what he is. He's quick with his mouth.
Yes.
It's a talent. Let him be. And your other son's good too, but you worry a lot about your youngest. You're not failing. You're doing a really great job, okay? You really are doing a phenomenal job. And isn't it weird that you have to wear different faces for different kids?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can't handle the same kid the same, you know what I mean? You can't
Yeah.
do the same thing for the same kids. You have to understand though, that's just because you have done that good of a job parenting. Um, there's another male with you, and I can't tell if it's a grandfather or a dad. Um, and I can't tell whether or not it's like a dad side, but there's a lot of dad energy and there's a lot of uplifting, but it's like these fond, happy, warm memories and love. And okay, are you always trying to cook, or are you trying to teach the kids how to cook right now?
I'm probably trying to teach myself how to cook, basically. But I would guess my dad died when I was like 6 months old. So I was hoping
Stop.
Yeah.
You have to know that he is with you every single day and walks beside you every day of your life. He's one of those guardian angels. Like sometimes you've seen like a figure in your room when you were smaller, or you would think like someone's around. It's always been him. Okay. And it's one of those things too that he hands me a Bible and reminds you to keep your faith,
Mm-hmm.
because lately things just feel like they're falling on top of you one time after another, after another, after another. So please understand that you are loved. You are with him. You also lost a dog. You can't tell me you haven't. If it's not you, then it's somebody around you.
I just lost my dog that was 15, and she had the same birthday as me last year.
Please know that, again, more confirmation that everything is good, everything is well, at peace. And
I feel like if somebody watched this, they would think that they asked me questions before. That's why I just want people to know, like, nobody asked me one single question. Right? I didn't even know.
I didn't even ask. I was gonna say I just kind of like flew at you. I'm really sorry. But yeah, I'm trying to go slow. It's really hard.
I think
But
I'm very like intuitive. Do you think that
you
helps?
are.
I'm
I
like,
always say your intuition's God's voice. It's just the closer you get to like the spiritual realm and the open-mindedness of it all, with no, and it doesn't just happen. It's one of those things that gradually happens. Life experiences, you learn to be humble, you learn not to judge people, you learn to see things from massive amounts of perception from massive directions. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And so you're learning that stuff. Your daughter also has massive intuition. So does your older son. Your youngest son is still too young to really grasp it yet.
Mhm.
Um, how old is your oldest son?
He just turned 20.
He's incredible. But is he in school? What is he doing? Because it feels like he's going back and forth about something, like where he's not completely sure what he wants to do. Makes sense?
Yeah. Like he's in college, but he may just end up working.
He's
for-
bored. Please,
Yeah.
you're in charge of whatever you want, and I do whatever. It's between you and God, and of course your family. Some people just don't do college yet, and it's just not his cup of tea today. He could wake up in 5 years and go, okay, it's time. But right now, it just feels like he's on burnout. So,
Yeah, he's just like going through the motions of it because that's what you're supposed to do. Not that he's necessarily like passionate and thinks he's going to do a career from the college education.
yeah, because I don't see that right now. Yeah.
That's what
Because there's nothing tickling him that's going, yeah, I got to go. It's more or less, okay, I'm in school because I need to be in school. He's got to have experiences. He's a lot like your daughter where she's going to learn from experiences. Same with him. He needs to travel. You're the same way, though. You love to travel. That's great. I love that. So thank you so much for your time in all of this. Let all this marinate.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll be able to watch this again. I'll follow your thing. Is that how I'll do it? And then I'll be able to hear it.
Yep. You can. We're gonna step back in. Yeah, you can always go back and listen. We post this on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just type in Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
And the video is on Facebook on the Miguel and Holly Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you have any questions or anything for Stacy?
Like
I know
specific questions.
I told you it was going to be a lot. Like it comes at you like a freight train, and you're like, "Whoa, what just happened?"
Why? Well, I don't know if I can even ask you this, but
anything.
I feel like I am intuitive, but I don't feel like I ever feel my dad's presence. Like I'm always looking for it, or like, people always say, oh, I feel this. Might be because I never knew him, so what, I don't know what to look. There's no symbol I have or something like that. But is there some way he could do something so I would feel it?
It's interesting. On a side note, I don't feel my mom, which is everyone's like, for a role that you can do. I don't feel her. I mean, when I'm around my oldest daughter, I'll get inklings of her, but I can't tell if it's just because I'm with my daughter. When your dad visits you, it's at nighttime, sleeping. Like I said, it's when you were growing up and you're like, wait, is somebody there? And you'd get that nervous. That's been him. A lot of the time when people can't feel their people, it's because they have the expectation of what they felt like when they were here. And they don't necessarily look to feel their soul, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
What I want you to do is when you go to bed at night, pray about it. And then the other thing, and this is, I have to say it to you because it's driving me nuts not to, look for coins, pennies especially. And I mean, that's like something that's been sticking out at me in the back of my mind since I started talking to you. But it's like once you start talking about it and asking about your dad, the money thing came in clearer about it. So in my head, that is one of his signs.
Okay.
Let me know.
Okay.
So, and rainbows are also a thing.
What is?
Rainbows are also a thing.
That's good.
Okay.
Well, Carrie, thank you so much for allowing us to peep in on your session with Stacy. We appreciate it.
And I'm just happy to see you guys' faces after listening to the radio. Because I listen to it when I'm driving to work, and I'm like, okay, it pretty much fits what I pictured.
Oh, that's always good because sometimes it's sure not at all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you never know what people are going to think about what you look like in real life. So glad that we fit the expectation, I think.
Well, Holly, you look younger. Not that your voice sounds older, but like I was like, oh, she's a young little thing.
Yes. I mean, who doesn't want to hear that?
Right?
I love it. Love it. That's great news. Thank you.
Well, Carrie, thank you so much. And welcome to the Platypus Posse.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Man, you came in like a freight train with that one, Stacey.
You didn't even leave that poor woman no room to breathe.
She was like, "Whoa!"
It's been a minute, y'all.
Yeah, but wow,
really, we haven't even done this since the beginning of summer. So not even the beginning of summer. Like it's been a minute. And when I pent up like I have, because remember too, Calvin, I just don't ghost you either. My lupus has been ugly. Really ugly. And I even was supposed to go to New York and I had to cancel it the day before. It's been that bad. And so I haven't been working. And when I don't work, I have all this energy and all this feels and I can't do anything about it. So she was my first victim. Sorry.
She was really great. She was in tune though, because you had told her about something and she was like, no, it's not my grandmother, but it is my great grandmother.
Yeah.
I love that. And I appreciate that because it was her grandmother. It's just, I never know what placement the grandparents are in. And the butterfly thing, that's so freaking cool.
That
And the dad thing.
Yeah. My goodness. So wild when you sort of parse through all the details to pin down exactly what those connections are. And like she said, literally, we just put out the number, and I actually did it in a different place than what I had planned because some things happened this morning. And so I solicited for people to be read this morning. And then the fact that you went a little bit longer with her, because there were 2 other people that were supposed to be on, but for some reason they didn't connect to us. So it's just interesting how it all falls into place the way it's supposed to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Now, with it being All Hallows or about to be All Hallows Eve, is it true what they say in movies and TV shows that the veil is thin right around Halloween or on Halloween?
Yes. And that's one of the other reasons too. So I was really excited to come here and kind of go in places that we're not typically allowed to talk about and go in lately. I'm going to gray out the lines a little bit in all of this today because that's a lot of the reason too why Christians, a lot of them don't like to celebrate Halloween because they believe that the demons come out more and like people are more susceptible to becoming possessed and all this other crazy stuff. And I mean, yeah, there's definitely some stuff that's true about Halloween. The other thing that I had an epiphany on yesterday, what if ghosts are the people who don't believe in anything and when they pass, they're just here?
Mm.
Well, how do you feel about that? Do you think that's valid?
I think it's a very big possibility. It's just one of those thoughts of like, why else would they be around? You know what I mean? I know that sounds weird, but
There's the thing about unfinished business.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
people say that people's energy gets stuck because they have unfinished business, or maybe they haven't accepted that they're dead.
yep, there's that too.
Mhm.
So it's
But
very
it's
interesting
possible.
to me. I've got to start asking them. And I know that sounds weird, but I think that's going to be something I do and I'll report back to see how this goes. But when I do come across them, I want to start asking, like, why are you here? What happened before you
Yes.
passed?
Right.
What were your thoughts?
Yes.
And I know that sounds like the craziest thing to talk about, but it's a real thing in my world.
Stacey, it doesn't sound crazy to talk about. It sounds crazy that you've never asked a ghost that. Like, what?
I never thought about it because it's like you guys truly it hasn't been until I've been on this show in such a consistent manner in the last 3.5 years that I've gotten comfortable with this gift. You know what I mean? And you guys have given me the freedom to accept who I am and to not only accept who I am, but to understand this gift and understand why it happens and understand what I see. So now I'm getting brave enough to start going, all right, so why are you here? What do you need? How old are you? What do you think?
I would collab with a paranormal group just to see what that mashup is like or what that is like. I mean, imagine like a paranormal group and then having Stacy as an add-on feature. For a price.
Like they sense that something's there, and then they're like, Stacy, go in and do your thing. So then Stacy could communicate with them.
Because I've gone on ghost tours and I giggle because half the places that people go for ghost tours and pay all this money to go on a trolley to go see things, there's nothing there, y'all. Like
You're just creating the illusion of being spooky.
Exactly.
Right. You just make it dark, put them in a cat or a hearse, and it's like it's spooky season.
Yes. And cemeteries are a beautiful trash compound. I know that sounds gross, but it's a beautiful landfill. And it's not any disrespect for those who have passed, but there are empty shells. There's nothing in graveyards and stuff like that. all of our energy, all of our spirits, all of our souls are here. You know,
that's why I never ever wanted to go visit my mom's grave in the cemetery because I'm like, what does that do? Now I know it does a lot for some people, and I think we've talked about this before because there's like a place where they can go and like speak to their loved one. But for me, I'm like, whatever exists, whatever belief system you have,
Right.
I would hope that my mom's soul isn't hanging around, that Northeast Ohio graveyard. Like, go somewhere better. Like, it's not hanging out there necessarily.
Right.
But that I don't want to take away from what someone feels when they would go like visit a grave, for example, and commune with that soul. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
Right. It's just sort of like a hallowed place. It's sort of like a church where it's like that is a place where you go and you know that your reason there is to focus and to fellowship and to, whatever it is that your religion, does in that building, that's what it's. So I feel like because for my mom and my grandmother's gravesite, that's what it is for her when she needs a moment.
It's
She
like a
wants
sacred
quiet moment.
space that she has created.
and
Mhm.
something
Mom,
physical.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
another thing. A lot of people do need the physical, and that's why I said they're beautiful landfills, because they are a place of holiness. They are a place of peace. And I always say sometimes too, and I'm really pressing the lines today, y'all. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Hospitals and airports, you see more prayers in sometimes than even churches, because of the same things, and graveyards, I love it, but people get, oh, they're so spooky, but they're not. They're welcoming and they're warm and they're beautiful and they're a place to give love and bring you peace from that place of somewhere physical. So
Yeah, why would a ghost want to hang out in a cemetery?
Well, that's what I'm
Correct.
saying.
Yeah,
But maybe
exactly.
you can agree on that as a meeting place if it's the human being that's alive that chooses that. So, you would go there and then, well, that's what the deal is with churches too. That's what they always say, in a gathering of more than 2 people, that the Lord is present. So you go to a church because you're all experiencing something and calling that to you. So I would guess maybe that's the point. Like, so you're using the cemetery as like a sacred space to call in and commune with that soul.
And in the meantime, they're
Like that.
everywhere.
It doesn't do it for me, but I could absolutely see how it does it for people.
Absolutely. And what I do talk about with my clients are, you don't have to necessarily go there. You can be in your living room, close your eyes, and picture the person. And they're there. Like, even though they're in your head and you're picturing that and you're making that scenario up in your head, they're there. They're there. Their energy is there. They are present. They are visiting. And I wish people could understand that. And it's not that you're going and, doing a seance to pull them in. It's not like that. But God or the universe or whatever is bigger than us that has created all of this has allowed that for us. And I think to bring us peace and to help us get through losing the most important people in our lives. Does that make sense? Am I rambling? Because
No, not at all. I think I mean, listen, at the end of the day, none of us truly know what it is, but I feel like from experiences and from, clearly over the years, watching you connect with these people who have, you have no connection with, but then you're able to connect people that have passed on. Clearly there is something that we don't see with our naked eye that is there, that is bigger than us. So it makes perfect sense.
And it's incredible too, because I was watching something with a priest explaining that psychics and mediums are actually puppets of demons, and it offended me. It offended me greatly, because y'all know how personally, very personally, I am a Christian. Personally, I believe in Jesus. I believe in God, and even in Scripture it says, "Where there's Jesus, there can be no evil." So how does that work? You know what I mean? And that's when I get very frustrated with certain religions and certain thought processes on this, because not all of this is evil. Not all of this is bad. And a lot of this is for help, guidance, love, peace. Grief is the saddest feeling we feel. Think about that. It is the saddest feeling we have, is grief, that feeling of loss. Why wouldn't God want to help us through that?
And I also think too that I'm like, if you can believe and have the faith in the stories that's been told, why can't this also be true as well? If we're talking about
the church, it's not necessarily
it's the church.
Spirit,
Right.
it's the way the church structure. Stays about slapped her camera off the table.
I did too, y'all.
Because obviously that does not fit into the story, the
Right.
narrative. And so
because there's also
it's
man
dangerous.
involved.
right.
Correct.
Because, it could lead people astray, and there has to be a certain set of rules and structures in order for there to be, this is how our structure works, and there's no room for that in it. So no matter what you say, it doesn't fit, so it's thrown out as demonic or whatever it is that they say.
And it's limiting God. That's the other thing. It's like, who are we to limit God? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't I just with, especially with all the craziness happening in this world, why wouldn't he start thinning the veil? Why wouldn't he start bringing more people forth with gifts to help? Because in biblical times, there were plenty of people that could do what I could do, but that was okay. You know what I mean? So it's very rough for me. And I figured today's episode would be a fantastic topic to talk about that because of the spirituality of Halloween. There are demons, there are the bad things. My husband loves to collect human skulls, but not their fake. Oh my gosh, my husband, Mr. third grade teacher, loves to collect skulls. You have no idea how much they creep me out. There's one behind me. I don't even know if y'all can see it. Wait, hold on. There.
Like a pirate type looking thing.
No, like the head.
Like we're not talking about some real human head off the dark web.
No, they're not. They're plastic. But I have a skeleton hanging off of a wall right now, the size of a human, because my husband loves this stuff. It creeps me out to no end.
When you put prosciutto on it, it's really creepy.
That's a great idea.
Charcuterie boards, and I'm always like, that's a little too close.
Yeah, that's too much for me. I can't.
I love me some creepy stuff for spooky season, but that's just a little too close to home.
How do you know what you're inviting in when you do that? Not to sound like that, not the prosciutto, but to have all the
prosciutto you can do it with.
Right. So I'm always like, well, be careful what you drag in. Be careful, and it sounds so goofy, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because I was thinking about this. I'm like, wow, every year we do this, I always have new stories. And even the newest story is I don't have a ghostie in this house, but I was at a house in Ohio and Holly, you're from Ohio. It's not a very young state. There's a lot of history. And
old homes, old farm homes.
Yes.
Farmhouses and just old houses in general. Yeah.
Yes. And Emily moved into an older home. Yeah. So my daughter has gifts too, my oldest. And when she was moving in here, she was like, Mom, Natty keeps talking about a little 4-year-old boy here. Natty is my granddaughter. She's 2. And she keeps talking about the little boy. And I'm like, Emily, she's 2, let her be. So I was up there. We evacuated for the second hurricane because I'm in Tampa. And drove up to Ohio, got to her house. I saw the freaking little boy. I thought it was my son.
Oh, boy.
I don't know.
Oh, and did it say anything to you?
Oh, yeah. Hi. You can see me. I know you know what happened to me. I was burned.
That's not creepy at all.
Wait, what happened to him?
He was burned. He
Oh,
died in the fire next door to the house. Like the house next door caught on fire. And I guess before the 2 houses were there, it was one big house.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. And could you tell from like what time period he's from?
It had to be from at least like the 18 to 1700 period, like war zone, like you know what I mean?
Right.
That kind of time zone. And it was like I was so bewildered over the fact of there's a kid, like there's a little boy here. And it was weird because we would hear footsteps going up and down the stairs because of course it's a 2-story house.
Right.
And I would do the head count of everybody. And I'm like, what is upstairs? They don't have any animals. They don't. And she's like, Mom, I'm telling you, there's somebody here. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, at least he's a fun little boy and not benevolent.
He's going to leave them alone. I had to get rid of anything that had been in the house. I did a whole cleansing before I left, but yeah.
Now, before we close out, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of this, and I just saw this when I was at Target the other day. Should someone or people avoid the Ouija board
Yes.
over the next 24 hours?
Don't
No,
do
you
it.
should avoid the Ouija board at all costs, anytime, 24/7, 365. Like,
Mm.
no.
Is
Nay,
it because
nay.
does it have a is it contacting like
It's a
evils?
portal.
Mm.
You are playing with demons. Like, flat out, soul worker Stacy Renee proof you're playing with demons.
Mm.
So don't think tomorrow Halloween you're like, you know, it'd be fun. Let's have some drinks, some Trulies, and let's pull out the old Ouija board.
I've never seen I don't know.
You
I've
never seen a Ouija board?
I've
Never seen it?
I've done it before.
Oh.
Like I've somebody's always controlling it. I don't know.
But how do you
Well,
know?
it doesn't need to be controlled. What if it's like somebody's controlling it, but then
Oh
Like,
yeah,
It just does its thing and it feels like someone's
can
controlling it.
Right.
Yeah.
or that like nothing really happens with it, but now something is lurking.
And following you.
Mm-mm. See, that's what always freaks me out. Like, I don't even want. I think there was years ago, Holly, we were in Panama City. We did like a ghost thing.
Yes, I did not want. I was
like,
so mad.
Did we actually use the Ouija board, or did we just have it? We took it and said we did.
I don't remember because I feel like I blacked it out. I remember going in that house and going up to the attic of that house. And I don't remember what happened. I remember that I took a rosary with me and I gave you one too.
Yes. Like, I just remember that was probably the most freaked out I've been, because I'm willing to sort of flirt with, everything we've been talking about and trying to understand it. But for that just freaks me out too much, a Ouija board.
Mm-mm.
Never, ever will you see me with one.
It's not
Never.
a toy.
No, it's not.
It's not a toy, Parker Brothers or whatever.
I was going to say Florida water, holy water, all over. I'd be like, making it rain.
Themed Ouija.
Yes. Yeah, especially like when they'll have like a Harry Potter or a Sex and the City Ouija board. I'm
What
like,
they do?
yes, I've seen it.
my
And I'm
God.
like, even as a big Harry Potter fan, nope, that is not coming in my house. Oh, absolutely not.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Well, Stacy, if somebody wants a reading for you, and do you have any openings on Halloween if somebody wants a reading?
Girl, I am wide open this month, this week. So when I go through my flares and I have to shut down, and then it's called Let Me Play Catch Up, and then everybody stops making appointments. Yeah, no. You guys, if you hear my voice, please book a session. It is worth your time. It is life-changing. It is something that is the most unique experience that you really cannot describe until you experience it. If you want to give it a go, I even offer mini sessions on my website, soulworkerstacyrenee.com. And if you want to follow me on Instagram at soulworkerstacyrenee, or even Facebook, soulworkerstacyrenee. And yeah, please, seriously, it is worth every second of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Stacy. Always good to hear from you.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Love you, miss you.
Kelvin,
Love you,
how can
miss
people
you.
find you?
At Kelvin Live, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
Holly.
Radio Holly, of course, on all the things.
Mine is at Miguel Fuller. Have a very safe and scary Halloween.
Play the Ouija board.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere.